golden fields of heavy-headed grain, the goal of thousands of wheat farmers. A typical farmer of the wheat belt, Mr. White, begins his year's work by turning over the fertile soil of his fields with gang plows pulled by his tractor. With modern machinery, Mr. White and his son Tom can put in a crop. 25 acres a day of broad, level prairie land plowed up, a fertile seed bed for the wheat. After the soil is prepared, drilling time. Into the hopper of this system regulates the flow of seeds. At the ends, these are like tiny valves, making its own furrow into which the seed falls, the loose soil covering the wheat as it is planted. After the planting, Mr. White looks for rain. Rain to keep the dry soil from blowing and to germinate the tiny grains. Rain enough to cause his wheat to grow, but not the severe storms that often beat down his growing crop or drown it in stagnant pools of water. Rain to keep harsh, sand-laden wind growing crop. But now the warm sun and the kindly rain have brought the crop to maturity. The heads full of mature seeds are beginning to bend as a sign of ripeness. Mr. strides into his field of golden grain and takes a few sample heads for testing. He crushes the heads between his hands until the chaff and grain are separated. The grain is full and dry. It is time for harvest, for the entire field seems to be evenly ripened and midsummer storms are threatening. Mr. White must have help, and quickly. The ripened wheat must be harvested and stored without delay, and the combine is Mr. White's way of doing it. And the combine goes tirelessly on, making the best of each sunny hour. A sudden storm at this time might ruin all the standing crop. The combine reel turns constantly, each blade reaching out and bringing back the heads of ripened wheat to the cutter bar. They fall backward and downward upon an endless canvas belt, which passes them on into the body of the machine. Here, the grain is separated from the chaff. Acre after acre of ripened heads fall before the blades of the reel and cutter bar and are carried upward into the maw of the machine. Each time the combine circles the field, it cuts a 20-foot swath of ripened wheat. The modern combine cuts just below the head of the grain and leaves the straw standing. The tall stalks are later plowed under for fertilizer. And now, the hopper on the combine is filled with the threshed wheat. At a signal, a waiting truck drives alongside and is loaded with a deluge of grain. For a moment now, the harvesters pause and enjoy a cooling drink. From loaded combine to loaded truck, the grain thus leaves the harvest field. Without delay, the wheat goes on its way to the nearest elevator, for today's market may be favorable. This is the harvest field routine, from dawn to dusk. From field to combine, from combine to truck. From combine to truck, and from truck to elevator. At the elevator, located on a spur of the nearest railroad, Mr. White sells his grain. Some elevators are cooperative, some are owned locally, and some by milling interests far off. These two simple devices, the end gate on the truck and a grated on the driveway beneath, permit rapid delivery. The wheat harvest travels. Processed and mixed and kneaded. Mixed and kneaded and weighed. Weighed and rolled and put into pan, baked. Baked to sliced for our convenience. Bread, our half of life. Toil of thousands of farmers graciously grant a golden harvest.